Illuminating the superhero within, unleashing your inner light. Welcome to a journey of self discovery and empowerment. Today, we're diving deep into the realm of human potential, exploring the hidden superpowers that lie dormant within each of us. I'm thrilled to share insights from my recent conversation with Percival Gibbs, a visionary educator and author who's revolutionizing the way we think about self awareness and confidence. Percival isn't just writing books, he's igniting a revolution of self belief that starts with our youngest minds but extends to every single one of us who's ever doubted our place in this world. His groundbreaking work, My Bright Light, is more than just a children's book. It's a beacon of hope for anyone looking to reignite their inner fire. Now, you might be thinking, great, another feel good talk about believing in yourself. But I promise you, this isn't your run of the mill motivational spiel. What Percival shared is a call to arms for every person who's ever felt small, invisible, or unworthy of taking up space. It's a wake up call for all of us who've forgotten the brilliance we were born with. Let's start with a truth bomb that Percival dropped on me. We are all born with an inner light. Yes, you heard that right. Every single one of us comes into this world shining brightly, but somewhere along the way, society, circumstances, or our own self doubt start to dim that light. We start to believe that we're not enough, that we don't deserve to shine. But here's the kicker, and this is where Percival's wisdom really hit home for me. That light never goes out. It might flicker, it might dim, but it's always there, waiting for us to fan the flames and let it blaze again. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, easy for you to say, you don't know my struggles, my background, my limitations. And you're right, I don't. But neither did Percival know the struggles of every child who would read his book. What he did know, though, was that every child, and by extension, every adult, has the capacity to shine. This isn't about ignoring the very real challenges we face, especially as people of color, in a world that often seems designed to dim our light. It's about recognizing that despite those challenges, despite the systemic barriers and personal setbacks, our light remains. And not only does it remain, but it has the power to illuminate the path forward, not just for ourselves, but for others around us. Let me share a story that Percival told me, one that really illustrates the transformative power of believing in your own light. There was a young girl, let's call her Jasmine, who had been struggling in school, not because she lacked intelligence, mind you, but because she lacked confidence. Jasmine had internalized the message that her voice didn't matter, that her ideas weren't worth sharing. But then Jasmine's parents introduced her to My Bright Light. They read it together, worked through its lessons, and something magical began to happen. Slowly but surely, Jasmine started to change. She began raising her hand in class. She started sharing her thoughts, her dreams, her brilliance with the world. Now, you might be thinking that's great for a kid, but I'm an adult. I've got real world problems and responsibilities. I can't just flip a switch and start believing in myself. And you're right, it's not that simple. But what if just for a moment we allowed ourselves to see the world through Jasmine's eyes? What if we approached our challenges, our goals, our very lives with the unshakable belief that we have something valuable to offer? This is where Percival's message transcends age, transcends background, transcends all the labels and limitations we put on ourselves. Because at its core, My Bright Light isn't just about building confidence in children. It's about rekindling that innate belief in our own worth that we all had as children before the world told us to dim our light. Let me share another insight from my conversation with Percival that really struck a chord. He talked about the power of taking up space. Now, when we hear that phrase, take up space, what comes to mind? For many of us, especially those who've been marginalized or made to feel small, the very idea of taking up space can feel uncomfortable, even scary. But Percival challenges us to reframe this concept. Taking up space isn't about being loud or aggressive. It's not about pushing others down to lift ourselves up. It's about fully inhabiting our own potential, our own brilliance. It's about refusing to shrink ourselves to make others comfortable. Think about it. How many times have you held back an idea in a meeting because you were afraid it wasn't good enough? How often have you dimmed your own light to avoid outshining others? How many dreams have you put on hold because you didn't think you deserved to pursue them? Percival's work reminds us that not only do we have the right to take up space, but we have a responsibility to do so. because when we shine our light, we give others permission to shine theirs too. We create a ripple effect of confidence, of self-belief, of positive change that can transform not just our own lives, but our communities and even the world. Now, and I can almost hear some of you thinking, that sounds great in theory, but how do I actually do that? How do I start believing in my own light when the world seems determined to extinguish it? And that's where the real power of Percival's message comes in, because believing in yourself, truly embracing your own light, isn't a one-time decision. It's a practice. It's something we have to choose every single day. Percival shared some practical strategies from his book that can help us cultivate this self-belief. One that really resonated with me was the idea of daily affirmations. Now I know what you're thinking. Affirmations. Really, that's your big solution. But hear me out. These aren't your typical cheesy I am awesome affirmations. These are powerful, specific statements that remind us of our inherent worth and potential. For example, instead of just saying I am confident, Percival suggests something like I have valuable ideas and the courage to share them. Instead of I am successful, try I am capable of overcoming challenges and achieving my goals. These aren't empty words, they're reminders of the truth about who we are and what we're capable of. Another powerful strategy Percival shared is the importance of celebrating our wins, no matter how small. In a world that often focuses on our shortcomings, taking the time to acknowledge our successes, our growth, our resilience can be revolutionary. Did you speak up in a meeting today? Celebrate that. Did you take a small step towards a big goal? That's worth recognizing. By acknowledging these moments, we're reinforcing our own capability and worth. But perhaps the most impactful insight Percival shared was about the power of community. You see, while believing in ourselves is crucial, having others who believe in us can be transformative. This is where the idea of shining your light takes on a whole new meaning. When we embrace our own brilliance, when we refuse to dim our light, we create a beacon for others. We show them what's possible. We give them permission to shine too. This is why Percival's work with children is so crucial. By instilling this sense of self-worth and confidence early on, he's not just changing individual lives, he's shaping the future. He's creating a generation of young people who know their worth, who aren't afraid to take up space, who understand the power of their own light. But here's the thing: we don't have to wait for the next generation to change the world. We can start right now, right where we are. We can choose to believe in our own light, to fan those flames of self belief, to take up the space we deserve. And in doing so, we can create ripples of change that extend far beyond ourselves. Let me share another story that Percival told me, one that really drives home the transformative power of embracing our own light. There was a man, let's call him Marcus, who had always dreamed of starting his own business, but for years he held back. He told himself he wasn't smart enough, didn't have the right connections, didn't deserve success. Then Marcus stumbled upon Percival's work. He started practicing those daily affirmations we talked about. He began celebrating his small wins, and slowly but surely, something started to shift. Marcus began to see himself differently. He started to believe in his own potential, his own worthiness. And you know what happened? Marcus finally took the leap. He started that business he'd been dreaming of for years. Now, I'd love to tell you that it was an overnight success, that Marcus became a millionaire in his first year. But that's not how real life works, is it? What did happen, though, was even more powerful. Marcus faced challenges, sure. There were setbacks and moments of doubt. But this time, instead of letting those obstacles extinguish his light, Marcus used them as fuel. He problem solved. He persevered. And bit by bit, his business grew. But here's the real kicker. It wasn't just Marcus's business that flourished. As he embraced his own light, as he refused to shrink or play small, something magical happened. People around him started to change too. His employees became more confident, more innovative. His customers were inspired by his passion and his story. Even his family relationships improved as Marcus brought this new empowered energy into his home. This, my friends, is the ripple effect of embracing your own light. When we shine brightly, unapologetically, we give others permission to do the same. We create a cascade of positivity and empowerment that can transform entire communities. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. That's a nice story, but my situation is different. I've faced real discrimination, real systemic barriers. It's not that simple for me. And you're absolutely right. The world isn't fair, and some of us face obstacles that others can't even imagine. But here's where Percival's message becomes even more powerful because embracing your light, taking up space, isn't about ignoring those barriers or pretending they don't exist. It's about refusing to let them define you. It's about recognizing that your worth, your potential, your right to shine brightly exists independently of the obstacles you face. In fact, Percival argues that for those of us who face discrimination or marginalization, embracing our light becomes even more crucial because when we shine brightly in spaces where we've historically been told to shrink, we're not just changing our own lives, we're changing the narrative, we're reshaping expectations, we're paving the way for others who come after us. Let me share one more story that really drives this point home. Percival told me about a woman, let's call her Elena, who had immigrated to this country as a child. Elena faced all the challenges you might expect: language barriers, cultural differences, economic hardship. And for years, she internalized the message that she should keep her head down, not make waves, be grateful for whatever opportunities came her way. But then Elena encountered Percival's work. She started to question those limiting beliefs she had internalized. She began to see her unique experiences, her diverse
Perspective, not as liabilities, but as strengths. Elena started to believe that she had something valuable to offer, that her voice deserved to be heard. And you know what happened? Elena became an advocate. She started speaking up about the challenges
faced by immigrant communities. She used her bilingual skills to bridge gaps in her workplace. She even ran for local office, bringing a much needed perspective to the political arena. Now, did Elena face pushback? Absolutely. There were people who told her to stay in her lane, who questioned her right to take up space in these arenas. But Elena had embraced her light. She understood her worth, and she refused to let anyone dim her shine. This, my friends, is the true power of embracing your light. It's not just about feeling good about yourself, although that's certainly part of it. It's about recognizing your inherent worth and using that recognition as fuel to create real, tangible change in the world around you. So, as we start to wrap up this talk, I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next week, I want you to practice shining your light. Start your day with a powerful affirmation that reminds you of your worth and potential. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small they might seem. And most importantly, take up space. Share your ideas, pursue your dreams, let your brilliance shine through in everything you do. Remember, your light isn't just for you. It's a beacon for others, a source of inspiration and hope in a world that desperately needs it. So don't dim your light to make others comfortable. Don't shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant to contain your brilliance. Instead, shine brightly, unapologetically, gloriously. Because here's the truth that Percival Gibbs reminded me of. The truth that I hope you'll carry with you long after this talk ends. You are not just bright. You are not just shining. You are a supernova of potential, of creativity, of world-changing brilliance. And the world needs your light now more than ever. So I'll leave you with this. What will you do today to let your light shine a little brighter? How will you take up space, own your brilliance, and inspire others to do the same? The choice is yours. The power is yours. And the world is waiting for your light. Imagine a world where every person, regardless of their background, their circumstances, their past struggles, fully embrace their own light. Imagine the innovations, the art, the solutions to global problems that could emerge if we all stopped playing small and started shining brightly. That's the world Percival Gibbs is working towards. And it's a world we can all help create. But it starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with each of us making the conscious decision every single day to embrace our light, to take up space, to shine brightly, even when, especially when, the world tells us to dim our glow. So here's my call to action for you. Go out there and be a light bringer, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Challenge the status quo. Question the narratives that tell you to shrink. Celebrate your uniqueness, your quirks, your so-called flaws, because those are the very things that make your light unique and irreplaceable. And remember, this isn't about becoming someone new. It's about uncovering who you've always been, beneath the layers of doubt and fear. It's about reclaiming your birthright to shine. So, starting right now, I want you to make a commitment to yourself, to your light, to your potential. Say it with me. I am a force of nature. I am worthy of taking up space. My light deserves to shine. Now, go out there and illuminate the world with your brilliance. Because when you shine, you give others permission to do the same. And that, my friends, is how we change the world, one radiant soul at a time. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Remember, in the words of Percival Gibbs, continue to shine. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. Your light matters. It's time to take up space and let your brilliance illuminate the world. Now go forth and be the superhero you were always meant to be.